Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everybody? Welcome to another episode of Roll Around, Find Out. In today's episode, I am actually in the mood to play a solo journaling game. And I want one that is out of my comfort zone. And we are going to try this pretty interesting, pretty light game called Last Tea Shop. I'll read the little description here. You run a tea shop on the border of the living and the dead. The recently deceased visit for one last hot drink before their long journey to the great beyond. Time is strange here. Days and memories blur. Nobody visited yesterday. You are sure of that. Someone passed last week, but you are unable to picture their face. The fog thins, a figure approaches, you stoke the fire. And so, solo journaling games haven't really been my thing. I've done a handful, and it's not that they're bad, it's just not what I'm looking for, but today, this date of November 21st, I am in the mood to try it. All right. But first, let's go and navigate over to my opening two segments here. My random drive-through RPG file, followed by my mailbag, which I'm very excited for the mailbag section here. But I've got everything I've ever downloaded here on Drive-Through RPG. And let me just do a little random scroll down and see what comes up. Random. Let's see. Is a guy page down button? No. Let's go. I mean, I have so much stuff. Let's end it here. All right. Found Folio, Volume 1, one-page adventures complete. Mazes and Minotaurs, roll for novel. Well, let's check out two of these. What is one-page adventures and what is roll for novel? A collection of 60 one-page adventures from level 1 to 15 that cover travel in different environments as well as local dungeons for each. Let me get a little preview here. Of course, doesn't want to work. Can I get a quick preview? Well, let's decide. Let's get a deeper look. A little update. I know I say this a lot. My recording schedule's all over the place. And if I get an interview, I bump that, and then episodes get all mixed around. 3 minutes to download. Come on, internet. And so while these are downloading, talk about my school campaign, which ended. And if you've been keeping up to date, I run a table of mostly 5th grade middle schoolers. I have 5th grade in my middle school. I'm a middle school teacher. And ran a session or a campaign for, must have been 4 sessions, going on 4, maybe 5. And the club lasts for 2 hours, but when you figure in downtime, setup time, whatever, we'll say an hour and a half. So let's call it 4 times. So about 6 hour long campaign about a goose hydra, which came from this random drive-through RPG called Honk. And it ended pretty swell. I'll say I was kind of a mean GM. There were a handful of kids kind of disengaged, and they died. The honking Hydra laid a golden egg, which is not in the adventure and was not in my game plan. Just a couple episodes ago, I talked about the layer I had built, and it just didn't feel right. And just the way my brain works, they're going after the royal goose. And I literally didn't even give it one thought about the goose that laid the golden egg. But of the 10-ish kids I had, about half of them wanted to defend the goose, and they got underneath it. They had healed it and a couple other things, blocking attacks from the other players, the other PCs. And the PCs that wanted to attack, their attempts were blocked, and then a couple just ran away, and so the goose pooped out a golden egg and just happened to land on the people running away. And so it was kind of my subtle, not so subtle way to say, hey, this is a game of cooperation and, teamwork. You won't always get what you want, but hey, read the room. Everyone wants to save the goose, and so you have to work within those parameters. Maybe I handled that not so well, but I knowing what I know about the details in the situation, I think I did okay. All right, what is this? Roll for novel. In order to play roll for novel, actually, here we go, is a story idea generator. As you follow the instructions, you will roll dice, physical or virtual, and write down your results. Well, I am actually going to print this out, download it, and print it out because I have a really close friend who's also a teacher, works in my building, that is the literacy, 6th grade literacy teacher, and he runs Creative Writing Club, and I think he would really like this. Okay, where are my downloads? One Page Adventure failed to download. Here we go. Okay. Maybe. This is how unprofessional I am. Well, you know what? I'm going to just roll with roll for novel. You pick the genre, point of view. Oh, yeah, this is sweet. Where's the setting? Build a main character. Presentation, masculine, feminine, androgynous. That's as close as I'm going to get to pronouncing that. Attraction, motivation. Yeah, okay, this is pretty sweet. Micro guide to planning a novel. Yeah, he'll like this. All right, well, I maybe could have done this tonight. Roll for novel by M. Curran, 2023. If you are interested in writing a novel, let's just skip towards the end here. Oh, he's got a YouTube channel. Maybe I'll reach out. Yeah, not much to say because I don't know anything about it, but I downloaded it. Must have been free. So, yeah, all right. Roll for novel. Short and probably not very sweet, but there we go. One Page Adventures, you lost. That download failed. All right, let me switch things up around, and I will do the mailbag, or what's on Heath's shelf, and then we'll get into the main solo journaling RPG last tea shop. Whoopsh. Obligatory sound effect. My good friend Joel the Mighty, for my 40th birthday, sent me this new 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide for 5th edition. You can kind of see in the corner here, unless I crop it out, that I'm doing my series on making a character through all the D&D editions. So kind of in a pretty strong D&D mood right now. And I don't know if he bought this because I had mentioned I was interested in it, or just it was the latest book to come out, but pretty pumped in wanting to read this. What I'm most excited for, and I had mentioned this, Joel and I were playing Baldur's Gate and mentioned that I wanted to check out the campaign setting of Greyhawk, which starts on 143, and just kind of the history and the lore of D&D. I want to know about it. I just casually want to read it. Maybe I'll tie it into some campaign that I run someday, but here is Greyhawk, and actually here is the very, very first Greyhawk supplement number 1. And so I'm going to compare and contrast and see if I can find maybe another version of Greyhawk to read, but pretty pumped on this. I know the magic items have been updated. Supposedly this is just far superior from the original 5th edition Dungeon Master's Guide. I'll give it all a look through. The Greyhawk is what I'm most excited for, and you know, I always come across like I don't like D&D 5th edition, but you know, I'm gonna get stuff from this. There's definitely things to be taken from. So oh yeah, let's go. I want to check this out too, just real quick. There's a bunch of maps on here, and that's something that I kind of want to skill build myself, is map making. I think I have a pretty strong core knowledge, but you know, it can always get better. Something that I just such a basic thing you'd think I know by now, but I don't. And maybe it's just personal preference, but when you're at your table, do you give players the map? So let's say, okay, so here it says farmstead. All right, so here's a farm. Do you just give this to your players right away? You just lay this down and then they can just explore? Or do you make them build the map? Do you have like paper laid out and then you like slowly reveal the map as people go there? Like in virtual tabletop, I think that would be like lighting fog or area fog or something like that. Like, I don't know. How does that work? Oh, and there's a map in here? Is this... Oh, I didn't know this was in here. It's already starting to come off. Ooh. If I do this enough, does it just... I'll be careful with that. Is this a Greyhawk setting? Maybe I'll hang that up. All right, so that's enough for the mail call. I don't have anything to say because I just got it. So I'll do some reading and then give feedback on this. But very excited. It is thick, as the kids these days say. All the new editions are significantly more pages. So I also like this little 50th icon here. All right, let's move on to the main topic. Let me change everything up and I'll be back. All right, last tea shop. Like I said, I want to get out of my comfort zone a little bit here. I live a happy life. I can't really complain, but got a couple personal things going on. And just looking to unwind a little bit. And so I've not done any pre-reading of this, but we shall see what it is all about. I also don't drink tea. I know absolutely nothing about it. It was just something that the name kind of got me, and I want to see what it is all about. There is a character sheet for this, more or less, but nothing crazy. There's a shop name, description, days, tea supplies, and then all the visitors that have come. So I don't have this printed out, but a normal piece of paper I sure do have. So like I said, I've not gone through this. We've got a little ASMR, little low-key vibe going, and I don't have the background music picked out, but it's going to be a pretty chill lo-fi vibe, which almost forgot. Let me pull up this. Here's something random, but this is my current favorite YouTube channel. Let's go to the... Oh yeah, this is Roll Around Find Out. This is the podcast channel. Let's see. I don't know where this came from. It popped up somewhere on my feed. Must have been for searching for lo-fi music. There's Piranha Squirrels Production. Cole, I'm jealous of your thumbnails. I wish I was as brave as you are. Where'd he go? There's like Lo-Fi Penguin. Let me search this up. Lo-Fi Penguin. Lo-Fi Fantasy Penguin? You can't miss the art. Yeah, here we go. Absolutely chill music. It's a great channel name. I've been rocking this 80s dark fantasy, lo-fi dark synth vibes for a nostalgic adventure. That's not the one I wanted to talk about, but go and check that out. Absolutely chill music. No, this is my lo-fi girl chill synth. And these are copyright, so I don't want to play it, but this is the one right here. Synthwave Radio, beats to chill and game to. I do believe that's the channel. It's official lo-fi girl who has tons of other channels, but man, I put this on all the time, and I would say 80% of them are just bangers. Just for what it is, just the beats get me. It's perfect. So I'm going to find a real nice song for this one. Get you in the mood for a tea shop. The last tea shop. All right. So, roll or choose where your shop is located. Okay. Setting up the shop. Again, I've not read any of this, so play overview. Roll for how many days have passed since the last visitor. Consult visitor's table to see who arrives. There's a first day, subsequent days, ending a game. When days reaches 24 or greater, veiled one arrives. Follow the question ritual. As veiled one departs, ask the final question. What happens next? All right, there's weather, an emotional tone, and supplies. So this shell, like I said, out of my comfort zone. Got a little lo-fi, raspy voice too. Okay, let's see. Setting up shop. Roll or choose where the shop is located. Number 1, atop a windy cliff overlooking the ocean. 2, within a cloud forest glade. 3, beside a river in a mountain pass. 4, an island of ferns surrounded by swamp. 5, a seemingly endless field of moss. Or a back alley in an old town. Well, given how I'm feeling, I'm going to choose that we are beside a river in a mountain pass. In a mountain pass. My second choice would be a seemingly endless field of moss. You know what? For the randomness, let's roll. If it's fate, it's meant to be. If it rolls a 5, I will take a seemingly endless field of moss. It is a 2. All right. Choose or invent 2 affinities. Luck, incense, frogs, secrets, shadows, dust, moonlight, ghosts, cards, memories, mice, lost objects, dreams, and mist. Well, I'm going to say I have an affinity for sunset and dreams. Affinities. Describe your stall on the stall sheet. How are your affinities a part of this place? Is stall my shop? I'm going to say it is. So let's put me on the spot and do some journaling here. How do sunsets and dreams describe my stall? Well, sunset. We've got kind of a brown, orange, and accent of purple vibes. We'll come back to it, but dreams. We've got landscape paintings. Inspirational destinations with if I'm subtly purple or an accent of purple, let's go with subtle of space / what's beyond. What else is out there? The world is infinite, and I'm just one person in it. Okay, let's see. Play overview. Roll for how many days have passed since your last visitor. I only need one 6-sided dice, so I shall roll it. 5. 5 days have passed. Roll and consult weather table for atmosphere and the visitor's emotional state. Okay. A 6. Gentle. The atmosphere is gentle sunbeams. Well, that goes quite well with the sunset. And the emotional tone. Is that what it says? Roll and consult weather table for atmosphere and the visitor's emotional state. 2 is melancholy. Okay. Prepare tea. Ask first question. Serve tea. Second question with tea effects. And repeat until the veiled one departs. Okay. Well, on the first day, prepare real-world tea for yourself. Settle in. Well, I don't have tea, but little ASMR here. I do have this watermelon lime drink that I do like, so I shall take a swig. All right. First day, roll 2d6 separately against supplies. The first die points to the row. The second provides the column. Record this on your stall sheet. Repeat until you have 3 tea supplies. All right, let me write supplies. The first one is the row. 5. which means 5 rows. Yeah, okay. And then the column 2, 5 and 2. That is reindeer, lichen. I think that's how it's pronounced. All right, repeat again. 3, row 3. Number 2 is kawaka leaf. I have no idea if these are real things or if they are made up. I do like this rows and columns mechanic, though. All right. And then one more time. 4 and 4 is ginkgo leaf. Ginkgo leaf. I feel like when I was a kid, there was some infomercial talking about ginkgo biloba, something like that. My ignorance is astounding. Okay. I have my supplies. Roll 1d6 and note the result in the days section of your stall sheet. Find that number on visitors. Okay, it's been 5 days. On the first day, roll 1d6 and note the result in the days section of your stall sheet. Okay, I don't have my stall sheet. I'm just making it up. Find that number on the visitors. This is your first visitor. Okay. My first visitor is a messenger. Write that down. Roll 1d6 and consult weather. This gives today's atmospheric conditions and the emotional state. Okay, well, I already did that. Gentle sunbeams and melancholy. Consult recipes and prepare a tea you have one of the supplies for. Remove 1 measure of the ingredient from your character sheet. All right. You use it, you lose it. As you prepare tea, there is a time to ask a question. Use question prompts or make up your own in the journal section of your character sheet. Write an evocative response to each question. Consider their emotional state. All right, we are not on subsequent days. Okay, so let me brew up a cup of I could do tea of mirth. An hour spent laughing at everything and nothing. I could brew up a draft of recall. Relive a memory in vivid detail. I could brew up distance tea. Drink to calm a difficult memory. Well, let's do kawaka leaf. And let's brew distance tea, it's called. All right. Now I have these 10 questions. Do I have a D10? I sure do. Thank you, Call of Cthulhu. Okay, so setting the mood. It's been 5 days since I've seen anybody. I have a messenger coming through the gentle sunbeams with a melancholy demeanor. I'm going to brew some distance tea from my kawaka leaf. All right. Let's roll for a question. 6. You lost something valuable. What happened? Okay, and I write from the perspective of the visitor, I do believe. Ask the first question. Yep. Okay, messenger. You lost something valuable. What happened? Well, to get a definition of melancholy, a feeling of pensive sadness, typically with no obvious cause. Pensive is engaged in, involving, or reflecting deep or serious thought. That's a little more extreme than I thought. I thought melancholy was kind of like meh. An air of melancholy surrounded him. Okay. What did the messenger lose? Do we have names for these people? There is add 2 to result of next day's roll. Each visitor gives a little effect, and the visitor says add 2 to result of next day's roll. All right, well, I'm not at the next day yet. All right, so this is tough for me. You lost something valuable. What happened? The messenger. Well, if he's that sad, let's say I lost a very good friend. I'm writing this, so bear with me. This is for me, not for you. I'm in the mood to do a little solo journaling here. I lost a very good friend. Well, I guess I passed away, right? So they could have been, they were new to my life, but due to what happened, I'm saddened by the future that will never come to be. I lost a very good friend. They were new to my life, but due to what happened, I'm saddened by the future that will never come to be. Let's challenge myself to go deeper. It's like I'm a poet here. Laughs that will never be uttered. Feelings unfelt. Paths that will remain uncrossed. All right. Question asked. When the tea is... Oh, hang on. Serve tea. As you prepare tea, there is a time to ask a question. Use question prompts or make up your own in the journal section of your character sheet. Write an evocative response to each question. Consider their emotional state. I think I hit that pretty good. All right, serve the tea. Ask a second question as the visitor drinks. This time, take T effects into account when the visitor provides their answers. Okay. Drink to calm a difficult memory. I'm going to try and come up with my own question here. Distance tea. Drinking to calm a difficult memory. They lost something, a new friend. The new question will be, I want something along the lines but more creative of, is it better to have loved and lost or never have loved at all? Something but more creative than that. Are you thankful for what you had? Or remorseful for what could have been? Drinks the tea. Drinks to calm a difficult memory. I'm trying to get how to apply messenger in here. What we had was what we had was potential. It's sad to cut something short. It's sad to prune. That's the word I'm looking for. It's sad to prune a flower before it blossoms. But how do we calm the memory? What we had was potential. It's sad to prune a flower before it blossoms. Let's refer back to the future that will never come to be. Let's tie in the sunset and the dreams. Oh, I got it. Perfect. This is awesome for me. Like the sunset, what happens today doesn't have to change my tomorrow. Yeah, a little sappy, a little emo, but you know what? That's what I'm in the mood for tonight. Okay. When this tea is finished, bid your visitor farewell. Describe the visitor's state upon leaving the stall. Note any special gift or bonus they pass on. I get to add 2 to the result of next day's roll. So I don't quite know what that means. But let's see. Subsequent days. Roll 1d6 and add the result to your day's total. So it's been 5 days. I'm going to roll 6 and I add 2, so 8. So if we're at 5 plus 8, we're on 13 days. Roll 1d6 and add the result to your days total. Consult visitors to learn who arrives. Proceed as first day, but with the following addition. At some point, ask each visitor, "How did you know my last customer?" If the moment seems right, weave an affinity into the situation. Describe how it transforms or eases things. All right, interesting. I did use that in the first day. Okay, so oh, I see now. Okay. Oh, I think I messed up. I think I was on day 5, so that's my visitor was number 5, a shepherd. But that's okay. All right, I got it now. All right, so we're on the 13th day, which means now I have an outcast. And an outcast has the same effect that I get to add 2 to the results of my day roll. All right. Roll for how many days have passed since the last visitor. Did that. Consult visitor table to see who arrives. Got it. Roll and consult the weather table. All right, you got it. It is drizzle. And the visitor's emotional tone is confused. Next, roll and consult weather table. Prepare tea. Oh, what happens if I run out of ingredients? Roll 2d6. Looks like eventually I should be able to get more supplies for my visitors. Okay. So now I have an outcast on a persistent drizzly day. I have reindeer lichen and ginkgo leaf. Well, let's reindeer lichen again. That can get me tea of mirth, an hour spent laughing at everything and nothing. Or ginkgo leaf, which is relive a memory in vivid detail. Let's do that because they're confused. So maybe a memory will jog why they're confused. And that is draft of recall. Draft of recall. All right. So as I am brewing draft of recall on this drizzly day, a confused outcast approaches. The only thing different today is I need to weave in gentle sunbeams and melancholy, I do believe. Oh, no. I have to weave in sunset and dreams. Okay. Maybe I didn't do that last time. That's all right. Let's roll for questions. 5. You saw something unusual. What did you see? We have an outcast that's drizzled. This could literally be anything. Relive a memory in vivid detail. Okay, this is before the question. So I just have to go that they are confused. They come to my stall. They come to my tea shop. You saw something unusual. What did you see? I saw... Ooh, it's challenging me. Good mental exercise. You saw something unusual. What did you see? I saw... clouds in shapes and sizes that just hit me in a way that I saw clouds in shapes and sizes that just hit me in a way, or let me cross it out, that gave me feelings that I haven't felt in a long time. I encourage you to do this, actually, out of character. I remember last summer, I'm 40 years old, and somebody told me this, and I 100% believe it to be true. Your age is like how fast you drive through life. And the older you get, the faster life goes. And if you're listening to this, you're probably of a certain age where you can remember summers from school, and they just lasted forever. Christmas break lasted forever. And I don't know, maybe it's different for kids these days, but I mean, I'm 40 and the days just blur by just so fast. And take that time, go take your dog for a walk, go on a hike somewhere, and just stop. Just stop, lay down in the grass, look up to the clouds, and just enjoy being present. Look at the clouds. I remember as a kid, that was like my thing to do in the car. Look at the clouds. What do you see? The imagination run wild. Also, the invisible Spider-Man. If you didn't have an invisible Spider-Man as a kid when you were driving, as you're going past different buildings and Spider-Man is leaping from building to building, you didn't have the same childhood I had. Okay. All right. So this outcast shows up. He's constant drizzling. He's confused. I saw clouds in shapes and sizes that gave me feelings that I haven't felt in a long time. Takes a drink of the distance tea. No, the draft of recall. Relive a memory in vivid detail. All right, so I'm going to make up my own question here. As an outcast, why would he be outcast? I beat to the sound of my own drum. I've never felt a part of anything or anyone on a meaningful level. I exist. That is it. Can you be personally outcast? Can I decide that I want to outcast myself? All right, tie in the affinities. So I dream of finding my home, the place I can be me. Okay. Relive a memory. Nothing specific, but just, hey, I don't really fit in. I don't have interests that I share with other people. So I'm moving along. Just keep moving until, I find my place. Tied in dreams, tied in my affinity. Second question. All right. When the tea is finished, bid your visitor farewell. Describe the visitor's state upon leaving the stall. Okay, I didn't do that in the last one. What happens today doesn't have to change my tomorrow. The person before, my first visitor, they probably left slightly more optimistic that tomorrow's a new day, basically. Put your pants on one leg at a time. Take one step in front of the other. Okay, the second one, the outcast. Let's say they leave also slightly better in hopes that the next place they go to, they can maybe not find it, make it their home, but find a piece that sticks with them, remains with them, and eventually, through enough travels and enough pieces, they can become what they want to become. Okay. As an outcast, I also add 2 more days to my next roll, so we are on to the next one. All right, let's roll for how many days pass. And then I have to add 2 because the outcast says add 2 to the next day's roll. Well, it's another 6. So 8, we are at 21. Looks like we got probably 2 more interactions left. Let me grab more paper. All right, so I got all my papers all scattered throughout here. That puts us at day 21, which is a hero. A hero which also will add 2 to my roll, so it's almost certain that I have 2 more left. So we've got a hero. And then roll for weather. We've got gentle sunbeams, but I already had that, so again. Heavy blue fog. And the emotional tone 4 is confused. Okay, we already had that. Pained. Okay. Make sure I do everything here. At some point, how... Oh, I missed. How did you know my last customer? Dang. How did you know my last customer? All right. Well, let's back it up. How did my outcast know my melancholy messenger? Well, we'll make it simple. The messenger used to deliver messages before the outcast set out on his own personal journey. I think pretty simple. Okay, so now the hero has to know the outcast, but we'll get to that. Let's roll. No, let's see. I only have one left. Now, gum boot tea. There's no special ingredients. It warms the soul, so I can do that anytime. But I also have the reindeer lichen, which I can brew tea of mirth. An hour spent laughing at everything and nothing. Well, he is pained, and so it might be hard to laugh. So let's brew some gum boot tea to warm his soul. It would be too extreme, I think, to go from pained to laughing, but pained to warming the soul, I think that's probably a better fit. Okay, so while brewing the tea, I will ask a question, rolling the D10 for a 10. Tell me about your journey to the tea shop. All right, heavy blue fog, pained, sunset and dreams. Why would he be pained? A hero. Let's see. We've got a merchant who lost a friend. We've got an outcast that couldn't be himself. Let's come up with another. Just trying to see here. They've got some inspirational. Nope. Okay. Pained because I lost somebody. This is stretching my creative brain, and I like it. Although it's probably not the best to listen to me struggling, but looking around, pained. They had a goal. So the question is, tell me about your journey to the tea shop. I was on a journey to help. Let's see, what are other reasons, motivations for going on a journey? I could easily Google motivations, but I want to use my brain. I was on a journey to better myself. I thought leaving my comfort zone would give me new perspectives and insights to a more fulfilling life. Now, remember that I run a tea shop on the border of the living and dead. The recently deceased visit for one last hot drink before their long journey to the great beyond. So these people are all dead. They died. So how did he die? I was on a journey to better myself. I thought leaving my comfort zone would give me new perspectives and insights to a more fulfilling life. The challenges I faced were purposeful. I felt well, I'll just use that word, purpose, when trying new things. My affinities, sunset and daydreams. Let's use the sunset, because I think I used dreams. Yeah, I used dreams in the last one. Sunset. Every day on my journey, I'd find one thing to learn. All right, hang on. He is pained. Every day on my journey, I'd find one thing to learn and one thing to appreciate. I learned life is hard. I might approach life with the best hopes and dreams. We'll tie in dreams. But all too often, life gave me a setback. And because he died, that's why he's here. In the end, it was too much. I didn't want to try anymore. I didn't want to care anymore. I didn't want to be me anymore. And then you can read into what you think happened next there. Right. Heavy blue fog, pained. Gumboot tea warms the soul. That is question number 1. How did he get here? Then he drinks the tea, and I've been making up the questions, but let's roll and then see. 5 I already got. 9. You recently realized something. What was that? Well, we'll tie in... Well, I kind of already answered. Maybe I over-explained the first one. I realized life is hard. I might approach life with the best hopes and dreams, but all too often life gave me a setback. In the end, it was too much. I didn't want to try anymore. I didn't want to care anymore. I didn't want to be me anymore. All right. How did he know the outcast? I met the outcast on the road. He was on the grass, staring at the clouds. When I asked why he was doing such a queer thing, he responded, and let's see if we can put a bow on both of these here. The clouds show you anything can be made, anything can be done. You just need the right motivation and the right perspective. Okay, I like that a lot. Serve tea, second question. How he knows. Yeah, okay, all right. He is a hero, which again, we're going to roll. And I add 2 to my day. 21. Oh, 21, 22, 23, 24. 3. That is the last one. That is the veiled one. And it says, ending a game. When days reach 24 or greater, a veiled one arrives. Follow the question ritual. As veiled one departs, ask the final question. What happens next? All right. Do I have to make tea? Follow the questions ritual. Let's ask a question to the veiled one. Does it mean I die? Maybe it means I die. Number 3. What are... there must be a typo. What are proud of, or what do you regret? What are you proud of, or what do you regret? Okay. Let's make a tea, because I've got Reindeer of Lichen. Tea of Mirth. Yeah, okay, I got a good one for this one. An hour spent laughing at everything and nothing. Veiled one. Tea of mirth. Let's get the weather, which is bruised purple fog. Not sure I know the difference, but bruised purple fog with a demeanor of exhausted. All right, I like that. He's exhausted, needs to laugh. Okay. Let's roll for the first question before the tea is served. 7. Oh, no. I already did this. Sorry. What are you proud of? Let me keep the 7 because maybe I'll use that one again. What are you proud of? The veiled one. He's exhausted. I've seen countless wives. I've seen the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. Most people exist. Some people... Let's do this. Some people are famous. Some people are infamous. Most people exist. Even though he's exhausted, let's go, since we're laughing, since the tea is to help us laugh. Oh, he hasn't had the tea yet, sorry. No matter, I love this. No matter who I see, no one's cup is ever full. No one is ever fully satisfied. They want more and more, and it's exhausting. All right. How did the veiled one know the hero? Well, if you can read between the lines of how the hero's story ended, I gave the hero the strength to do what he thought was best. Live your life for you, even if it's shorter than others think it should have been. All right, serve the tea. And then question 2. Turn my notes page. Rolled a 7. You left something unfinished. What is undone? For the veiled one. Well, he is exhausted. You left something unfinished. What is undone? From the Veiled One. I walk the world to give and take. The world is old and for sunset, and even a new day. I walk the world to give and take. The world is old, and even a new day I see the same. People dream, tying in my affinity. People dream. People want. People do. People don't. I left something unfinished. What is it? I hope people will learn. I hope people will learn. Gotta come up with something profound here. What did the Veiled One leave unfinished? I hope people will learn. Nothing is certain. Enjoy what you have. Miss what you have lost, but it's tying the affinities. After every sunset, dream a new day and live until the sun sets again. All right. As the Veiled One departs, ask the final question, what happens next? To the Veiled One. Right? Ask the final question, what happens next? Let's read the intro again. Time is strange here. Days and memories blur. Nobody visited yesterday. You are sure of that. Someone passed last week, but you are unable to picture their face. The fog thins. A figure approaches. You stoke the fire. What happens next? What happens next is I learn from my visitors. Life has purpose. Life is finite. Find your purpose. Chase your dream. Let me tie something back in from another one. Life is finite. Find your purpose. Chase your dream. Let me pull something from every single one. Life is finite. Find your purpose. Chase your dream. Change your tomorrow. Make a home. You know, it's a lot going on here. It's like a mantra. See others' perspective. And the veiled one's advice. Enjoy whatever you have been given. And take only what should be taken. All right. Well, how entertaining was that for you? I don't know. But that might have just been random crap. But it's what I was looking for. Just a chill kind of vibe. Like I said, I'm a pretty happy person, which got some personal stuff, and I think that was a pretty good approach to it. So I tried to do some mental exercises and have a different situation for each visitor. And again, maybe it's a bunch of poetic crap. I don't know, but I'm glad I did it. So go journal it for yourself. It's free on Itch. I believe, if I can find it readily available, Last Tea Shop on Itch. Last Tea Shop Itch. 67 reviews. Ooh, Last Tea Shop Complete. This is the full version, which maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll throw them $5 because that was a pretty good experience. But here's Last Tea Shop Classic for totally free. Go and check it out. See Tim. Oh, never mind. Examples of play. I'll link it in the description. The full version of it is $5. And what else is there? I imagine differences from Last Tea Shop Classic. This completed edition is a 16-page zine. It stays true to the original single-page version, but adds options and a few secrets. It expands the number of settings, visitors, tea ingredients, questions, and affinities. People who play through multiple play through multiple times should have very different experiences. Last Tea Shop Expanded Edition features illustrations. Okay. So yeah, go and check it out. Thank you so much for coming along and joining me on this journey of role-playing games. I will see you in the next episode. Keep being creative. Later.